Hi Clara, I'm Parker Esse, and I'm the choreographer of Oklahoma.
And I'm One.wmv, and I'm the music director for Oklahoma.
So you obviously have done a lot of work together. Have you pulled from any previous pieces?
I think we've pulled from our experience of working together. We started way back with Animal Crackers and progressed through Damn Yankees and Camelot and
South Pacific.
South Pacific.
And Christmas Carol 1941.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of experience working together and collaborating on many different genres of shows.
Arena Stage had Oklahoma last year, and they've got it this year. Is there anything you can say audiences will recognize or anything that's new to the show?
Yes.
I think they'll probably recognize a lot of the show. It feels different for us because we've deepened it a lot and taken care of many details and added many details that we didn't have the first time. But it's basically a fabulous show but it's even better.
Right, there's certain pieces in the show and dance numbers that we didn't want to change. We thought they were great the way they existed before. But coming back to a show like this, you come back with fresh eyes and you add little tweaks here and there, and there are certain numbers that I've changed the complete beginning of the ballet, and I changed a portion of Many New Day, and just to have another go at it. It's so great as an artist to have another shot at it. But I'd say the majority is the same.
Mm-hmm. It's also great to come back to a piece which you know is successful the first time. It wasn't like we were trying to fix anything. We just make it better, which was great.
Do you have any favorite numbers in the show?
I do.
Yeah, I do too. What's yours?
Mine's Kansas City.
Oh.
I love the boot scooting, stomping, dancing in Kansas City. I think the men that learn from Will Parker and the number really have a great time with it, and there's a lot of rhythm in the number, and the music, the orchestrations are fantastic, and it's just a fun crowd pleaser.
One of my favorite sections is the tango, and it comes in the ballet at the end of Act 1. We took a section of the ballet and totally put it through the dishwasher and the washing machine and wrung it out several times. And what we came up with was a tango, which was great.
Yeah.
And I had it orchestrated, and that's one of my favorite moments.
That's one of the most exciting things about collaborating together, is that we will have our own ideas about the show, our own new take on the show, and we'll put our heads together and create something completely new for our production that's tailor-fit to fit our story. When I was doing pre-production on the ballet, we came up with a tango because I wanted a dangerous and passionate and sensual dance for Laurie when she is in Judd's world, and to show how she's taunted by Judd and the women in his life. And it's usually just straightforward, I'm just a girl who can't say no.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And then we took it and put the tango on it, and it's got that power and that it's very passionate.
Yeah, it's like an Argentinian tango now, which is great.
And you haven't seen that before in another production of Oklahoma because we came up with it together, which was fun.
Yeah, some of the process is, you get this score in the mail that's the full score, and you don't know what it sounds like because nobody's ever recorded the entire full score. Any recording you get is just, the top numbers and even slimmed down. So we started out by recording the whole show on piano so Parker could hear what it was, and then he went away and did his gestation period and came back with ideas, and then we could really work in specific about what sections worked, what sections didn't work, where we wanted to cut, where we wanted to change. And all of this, of course, I have to be mindful of keeping true to the spirit and the intent of the music so that we stay within our rights as people who are renting the show. And then it eventually runs by the R&H people, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. They were here on opening night, and I said, we built in a tango in a soft shoe, and they said, oh, good.
Yeah.
Because we have more history. By now we have a history with Rodgers and Hammerstein organization, and they trust us with the material. They trust us to make changes that are within the spirit of the music and the spirit of the composition, and still do something exciting and new to it.
Yeah. There were times when I was at home after we'd put down the recording of the entire show where I'd call George and I would talk to him about a number and sing a portion of it to him and say, what if we took this section and added these moments or extended this section of music.
Wait,
and-
I'll put you on speakerphone. Go ahead,
Right.
talk to him. How's this?
And he'd be playing it, and I'd be singing to him, and he knew exactly what I was talking about, just because we have that familiarity together.
You know, we should have Skyped.
I know.
We should have
Then I could have
Skyped.
danced
Next
for you.
time, next time we're going to dance. That's right.
Could have put it on video. But with, there were times when I was humming out a tune to him and tapping my feet on the floor and, coming up with the rhythm as I created the dance, and he made it work in the music. Or he took out music to showcase that rhythm, like we did in Kansas City. Kansas City, we created a stop time section so we could feature the tap sounds of the cowboy boots on the stage. We have a hollow stage, and to really...
A wooden stage.
A wooden stage, right? And to really accent the cowboy boots and give the audience that feel of grit and the muscularity of the sound of these cowboy boots, we took out the music and created a stop time section.
And I always love ending a big dance number with some singing. I just love to pop it off with that and make the audience on there, really excited. But this particular arrangement didn't have any vocals at the end, so I made up a vocal section to go at the end, and then Parker put dance with it so that we could end the tune with like singing, dancing, and a big finish, and that was great. The audience loved it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It created a nice build and a surprise for the audience, because just when you think everything's done, all the dancing's done, Will Parker jumps back in and he just tops it with one more trick, and it's a fun way to end the number. Yeah, those boys are tired after that.
Though they are indeed. So is the band.
Yeah,
The band's been blowing for a while.
Oklahoma has been produced and reproduced by thousands of companies. What do you think makes Oklahoma special, and why was Arena Stage called to producing it?
Oh, I think the story. I think it's got such a strong story, and it's so well written, and the orchestrations, and I mean, it's a masterpiece. And really, when you just start working on it, you really don't have to change that much, because they got it right the first time. And I think that's why people want to produce it and do it over and over again, because it's an epic.
It's an epic, and it was groundbreaker. I mean, it was the first time that dance and song were used in support of and for the furtherance of the plot, as opposed to a dance number or a song number just being a moment of entertainment, and then you go back to the story. And so as it was a groundbreaker in the history of musical theater, so Molly wanted this to be a groundbreaker in the history of Arena Stage and becoming a center of education. So she was very excited about doing it, and she got everybody else excited about doing it. There was a lot of hesitation in the beginning. It's an old warhorse who wants to do it. What does it have to do with today? But it turned out it had everything to do with today, and new beginnings, and the excitement of doing one of the American classics.
Yeah, Oklahoma going into statehood,
Yeah.
in the musical, Arena Stage becoming the Mead Center for American theater.
And given
It's a good time.
given that it's Molly Smith, she didn't want it to be, your white bread version of Oklahoma. And by white bread, I mean that everybody in the cast was white. So she really wanted to make sure that it looked like the territories in 1907, was that the year? 1907 for Oklahoma. So we've got a
All
mixed
races.
racial cast with great singing and dancing abilities, and we're lucky to get them.
And just strong actors, strong men and women in our company, because back then the women were just as strong as the men. So they're dancing as strong as the men, they're singing as strong as the men. It's a very well-balanced company in that aspect. Yeah.
Have you got any favorite dance numbers?
Mine's the tango.
Tango?
I love that tango. If I could, with hindsight, the next time we do the show, I'm going to change the key of the tango, because there's a bass figure that I want the bass player to play it that's a very Argentinian tango bass figure. He can't do it because he doesn't have the lowest note on his bass. It's not built to be low enough for that. So he's going, which is it's not as strong as
Then we have to do it again.
No, we have to do it. We have
We're
to
gonna
do
do
it
it
again.
again.
A different key.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it again. I love Farmer and the Cowmen. It's a great opening to Act 2, and it starts off with this brilliant fight choreographed by David Leong, our fight choreographer. And it goes into song and dance, and there's a fun square dance in the middle of the number that's tough, and there's dirt under the fingernails, and everyone's really having a good old time. And then there's a call and response, and then there's a competition between two men and an add-on step, and it just keeps unfolding as the number progresses, and it's fun. And we end in
It's a lot of
song,
fun. And
we end in vocal.
what we decided to do was not, well, the orchestra is in the audience. It's in a portion of, that used to be the audience seats, it's now the orchestra shell, schoolhouse. But for this number, we wanted to involve the orchestra so much that we actually take 3 players out of the orchestra pit and have them walk into the action on stage and be sort of like the hoedown band for the hoedown. And it's
fun.
great fun. We got to watch. And one day I was going to work. I was coming to work, and I saw a picture of this old string band of a guitar player with a cowboy outfit on, and somebody with a cigarette smoke, and somebody holding a beer, and blah blah blah. And in the background was a guy with a washboard, and I went, washboard. So we dug up a washboard from the props department and gave it to the percussionist and said, here, play washboard. So he's down there on stage playing washboard. We got the violinist, who's a concert violinist, who's playing as if he's a hoedown fiddler. He's down on stage. And a banjo player. So they're as part of the action, there's the band right on stage with the dancers. And it's just really, really exciting.
Authentic feel.
Yeah.
You know, they're part of the action.
Yeah.
It's great. And it fuels the dancers on stage. They love it. It's a lot of fun.
And then for the ending, of course, not of course, but the ending ends very, it just ends. The main piece ended, and I wanted to put a hoedown ending on it, so we came up with that standard, kind of an ending. We tagged that on the very end, and it really caps the piece off nicely. So that's the opening back too.
Absolutely. Another small number that I loved working on was All or Nothing. It's a duet between Will Parker and Ado Annie, and he's asking her to commit to their relationship, and she just doesn't want to. And so he has to convince her that she's got to give in everything or nothing, you know. And when we were working on the dance break, it's pretty straightforward.
It's just a sort of a repeat of the vocal.
Right, it's a repeat of the vocal, and I want to do something a little bit more clever. And I said to George, I said, well, what about a T for 2? You know, and create a soft shoe.
So my response was, what a T for 2?
A T for 2. I'm like, sure, it'll sound great. And then I sang it to him over the phone, and he went, oh, okay, let's see.
I started playing with it.
Let's make this work.
And then I sort of outlined it on a sketch pad and handed it to somebody who could orchestrate it for us for 12 pieces. And he orchestrated it and came back. We listened to it some more and made some changes in it. So now we have a soft shoe.
A soft shoe, and we added sandpaper.
And we added sandpaper block.
It's one of my favorites. And the actor, you know, playing Will Parker has such great rhythm, and that has a lot to do with what we put into Kansas City. So it's a nice theme that's been carried on through the show. So we recognize Will Parker from earlier on with Kansas City in that little soft shoe, which is fun. That's fun.
Well, are you ready to show some examples?
Sure. What do you want to
Let's
do
do
first?
it.
Want to do it in order?
Want to do anything, yeah. Want to do a little stop time?
Stop time, Kansas City?
Just some Kansas City stop time.
All right.